You just saw heads drop CJ to the turf there, didn't you?
Yeah, man. Like it's coming to realization now. It's too little, too late. They're gonna keep fighting them towards the end, but there's nothing we can do, man. Like it's over. It's been a commendable effort. All I ask for them is to try. We have to go back to the drawing board.
How will this season be assessed and summed up from an Arsenal point of view?
Well, in the whole of it, like, we haven't won anything. It's a terrible season. Obviously, the Champions League, we'd love to win it. That's probably the one where you give a bit of leeway. Obviously, we're going out, but nobody expected us to beat Real Madrid and be here. But it's another question. It's another season where we haven't won silverware. Where you've battered Manchester City in the league. You've battered Real Madrid. You've had a great record against the top six, but there's just no trophies, and it further raises in question. I think Mikel Arteta.
What questions?
Is Mikel Arteta the man to get over the line?
Do you think he is?
Until you do it, I can't say you are. I think you're a good coach. You're not necessarily a winning coach because you haven't won.
But do you think he deserves more time to be the man to get you over the line?
I mean, he signed a new deal and his coaching staff have signed a new deal, so that's not what I want. I think every Arsenal fan just has to accept the man is staying.
Okay, but in your opinion as an Arsenal fan, do you want him to be given chance here for Trossard? Oh, it's a Ricky. Do you know what? He had so much space in the box there to get a shot away. Cuts in from the left.
Again, from Carrasquillo, but so,
just, I'm interested for your opinion on Arteta. You don't seem so sure, maybe, that he is the man to get you to win you.
I think there's a lot of pluses. I think there's a lot of negatives.
What are the negatives?
Well, clearly, collectively, he's not necessarily in relation to this game, but I think he just sticks to the script, doesn't really go off it. I think some of the recruitment, this is his team, isn't it? At the end of the day, if you've got Kai Havertz, who isn't involved, in Mikel Merino up front, you've had some say in that. What I want to see is actually what Berta could do for our transfer market. Like, he's come in and we're already linked with Gyökeres, which is off script from Sesko. We're seeing handbags between Mikel Merino and Hernandez.
Yeah, 2 minutes gone, it's game over, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, I think the Berta thing is really interesting for Arsenal because, like, Mikel Arteta has got over the last couple of years an unprecedented amount of power as the structure.
I was just about to say that it feels
like
like there's too much.
He's a manager rather than just a coach.
They're trying to set him up to be the Arsene Wenger of sorts.
Exactly. I don't know how sustainable that is in the modern game. And to have someone else challenging your ideas, I think, is massively important. As a coach,
he needs to be the David. Like, it's almost like I'm not comparing them, but it's like when we had Arsene Wenger and David Dean. We need Berta to be the David Dean to the Arsene Wenger in Arteta's case.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we have spent money. Like, we have spent money. It depends what Arsenal fan you speak to. Some act like Mikel Arteta can do no well. Some act like he's a damsel in distress, where the truth's in the middle.
So do you think the jury's very much out there on Arteta in terms of Arsenal fans? They're quite split in terms of yes or no. He's the right man to win you the big trophy.
Yeah, because there's some that are like, actually, like, this game's on brand because we have got to the semi-final with all the injuries. There's a section of our fan base that are more in love with the journey than necessarily the destination, and then there's some of our fans that, unless we win something, they don't really care about the little nuances. For me, the only thing is, I think Arteta is a good coach. I think he's got charisma. I think he's done a lot well, but I need you to get over the line, and every year you don't, that question is going to get bigger and bigger. And
so you don't be. I don't want to put words in your mouth, CJ, but I'm getting the impression as Saka comes forward down the right hand side. I'm getting the impression you don't think he's going to do that at Arsenal.
I mean, I can't predict the future. I don't know where you could get that impression. We just have to go again.
In your opinion, though.
In my opinion,
if I say to you yes or no, does Mikel Arteta win a Premier League at Arsenal? What do you say?
I'm saying I can't predict the future. I don't know what you're asking me, Sam.
But we are on a show, though.
We are on a show, but I'm not a fortune teller at all.
They're in a position where they
can't imagine people know answer.
No, but I'm asking for an opinion on something on Mikel Arteta.
I think if we go into the transfer market, then you never know. He's been.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. Again, you just said you didn't want to put words into my mouth. Now you're putting words into my mouth.
It's finished. It finishes PSG 2, Arsenal 1. PSG will play Inter Milan.
Can we turn the TV off?
In the Champions League. If you're not going to answer the questions, you might as well go, mate. I mean, it's PSG 2, Arsenal 1 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. Arsenal started the game off really, really well. Donnarumma made a couple of really big saves. Declan Rice missed a header. PSG punished Arsenal with Fabian Ruiz after 27 minutes. A deflected shot which went into the back of the net. Arsenal huffed and puffed. Hakimi made it 2. Hakimi made it 2 in the second half. Arsenal did pull one back on 76 minutes, but it wasn't enough. Heartbreak for Arsenal, who've had a great Champions League run. They finished inside the top 8. They had that ridiculous 2 legs against Real Madrid where going through 5-0 in aggregate.
7-1 PSV.
They have thumped PSV, of course they did. But the great performance was probably against Real Madrid over the 2 legs. But the night is all about PSG. PSG get through over 2 legs by
Tony
3
Parker.
goals to 1.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Andy,
Omar Sy's up there as well. Film
Andy,
star.
we'll do some. I have no idea what you're talking about here, Andy. We've only got a couple.
You've got to watch Lupin. It's on Netflix. Incredible.
More on that in a couple of minutes. But for PSG, there's no Mbappe. There's no Neymar. There's no superstars. move aside, this is a special team.
Yeah, it really is.
Keyword team.
And they're only keyword team, as you say, and they're only really at the start of it, because you think they could barely put one foot in front of the other in the group stage of the Champions League. After 5 games, they were looking down the barrel of elimination. They'd only scored 3 goals, and one of those was chucked in for them by Paulo Gazzaniga. So you look what they've managed to do now. The fact that they've done away with a traditional striker, and ever since then, ever since Doué's become more important, ever since Dembele's played as a centre forward, they have been the team to watch in Europe. It's been fantastic. I really think they deserve to be in the final. I think the fact that they've not found it easy, and they've learned on the way, and they've rode out a lot of tough bits as well. Pardon?
Got better as it's gone on. Got better as the champs has gone on.
They have, and I think, CJ, the way that they've dealt with difficult bits like they did today as well proves that, you know, they can do the rough stuff as well.
Do you think they're the neutral favourites out of them and Inter?
I think they are. I don't think by a lot. Like, Inter are a serious contender and have been a serious contender for a couple of years. We're still learning how PSG react to these situations, I think, when they're really put under pressure. And they've got through it with a bit of grit and a bit of luck along the way.
CJ, your thoughts from an Arsenal perspective? Beaten by the better team, would you say, over the 2 legs?
Yeah, beaten by the better team. Clearly, man. You know, again, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up. I think there's controllables that we didn't necessarily control, i.e., you know, scoring goals and defending a bit better. But pound for pound, they've been more proactive than us. They've won their individual battles. You know, Dembele made the difference in the first leg. A couple of other different players now. Donnarumma has stood up tall across both legs, definitely now. They deserve to be in the final. It just is. It is what it is, man.
Declan Rice is going over and applauding the Arsenal fans. It's they huffed and puffed. They gave it blood he could go today, Arsenal. They're the better team of the night for me. I don't think they deserve to lose for the night.
I think, Sam, if you look at where English teams are in the Champions League, I think we're maybe looking at another era of English dominance. When you look at Arsenal, who are genuine contenders, have been genuine contenders, Liverpool, who caught PSG at their best moment, but in any normal season would be genuine contenders, and then you add on top of that Aston Villa, who, if they get back in the Champions League, will be a threat again, and then Newcastle are looking to have a go at it, the second Champions League participation in 3 years if they get there this season. Chelsea will obviously want to get themselves in it, and well, we don't know where Manchester City are going to be this time next year, but there are a lot of contenders going forward, I think, and especially with that extra Champions League place and the potential of a Europa League winner coming from England as well. Season, right? You're looking at 6 teams, and at least 4 of those who've got the possibility to win it, or at least go
amazing, man.
CJ, to state the absolute obvious, this is a massive, massive summer for Arsenal, isn't it? This is a summer now where you've got to go out and sign a proven number 9. You've got to find an upgrade on that left-hand side. Are you confident that Arteta will get what he wants this summer to get over the line next season?
I'm confident in Berto. Really, I have no evidence because I haven't seen what you've done at Arsenal. But when you see his 12 years at Atletico Madrid, you see how we're kind of pivoting away from certain targets. We have to. Is undoubtedly obvious what Arsenal need. You need a central midfielder. Look at the 2 legs. Look how better we was. I know Partey could have done better for the goal.
Was it dereliction of duty not to bring someone in January?
It's complete incompetence. Like, for me, we need to be proactive in the summer. We needed to be proactively reactive in January. And I would say you sign up for moments like this to see when Partey's not there and we kind of struggle to, as much as it's nothing to do with Marino, but there's been half chances where a proven cold-hearted killer puts the ball in the back of the net. You kind of sum this up, and I always say to my friends, if there's any aspect of Arsenal Football Club I feel sorry for, it's the players. You know, you mentioned January. Declan Rice said, I hope that the club bring in players because Tierney's having to play left wing. Now, I don't want to, over-exaggerate, but is that not an inkling as to what's going on?
And can I just say, sorry to cut across you.
Go ahead, man.
Scenes like this, I absolutely love. We don't see enough of this in England because people get the mick taken out of them for over-celebrating. The PSG players have literally jumped over the barricade and are pretty much as close as they can possibly get to the PSG fans who are a long, long, long way away from the goal. But this is special scenes, Andy, isn't it? The flags are raising. And look how much this means to the PSG players.
Yeah, and, they've had so many failures in the Champions League as well. For all the big names they've brought in, they've fallen way, way short on a number of occasions. And, they've looked like they've had no strategy really for the Champions League since they last got to the final in 2020. And let's not forget, I know that was the COVID final and it happened in August, but all the same, they were the better team in the final. and they couldn't get it over the line against Bayern. And really, it's needed them to go back to basics that they've never been at before.
How much credit does Luis Enrique deserve for the job he's done? Because remember when he went in, people were sceptical. Is he the right man? He's shutting up a few people here, isn't he?
Critics initially as well.
Right? Yeah, he has. And I might have said something earlier in the season when he said, well, this is a young team, we're still learning. Well, they're learning pretty quickly. And I think, actually, when we were talking about Arteta and the amount of power that he's had, funnily enough, PSG have gone up and up and up since they've handed more power to Luis Enrique, which I think is interesting.
We've got a couple more minutes till we hand over to the sports bar. Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara are standing by. CJ, a tough night for Arsenal, but he's still confident the future looks bright under Mikel Arteta?
I mean, yeah, man. Like, you see Mikel Arteta, I actually feel the last 3 years we've shot ourselves in the foot a bit, like what we were speaking about in relation to a striker. If we do things a bit differently and act in the market, there's no reason we can't achieve stuff. I think the positives outweigh the cons, but the cons are actually what's weighing us down, and, you know, this is why moments like this happen, if I'm honest. So yeah, there's no reason why we can't build on this. It's a learning curve. I know it's of no consolation to Arsenal fans, myself included, but when we went out to Bayern Munich, it wasn't the batterings we kept getting. We went out, we've got to the semi-finals.
Yeah, that one you went out almost felt like with a bit of a whimper, didn't you? Yeah. Whereas this one, you've literally given it your all. We've
given our all, of course, over the 2 legs. Certain things could have been done better, but there's been improvements in the last 2 years. And we've got to remember, this is Mikel Arteta's second year managing in the Champions League. Yeah. There's stuff for him to learn, because if, as much as I mentioned that, I look at the Europa League semi-finals, there's certain crunch moments he's crumbled in on occasion, but we just go again next year, man. We just have to go again. There's nothing else. It is a failure of a season, though.
A failure of a season. No, there's absolutely no doubt about that, is there? I mean,
especially the Premier League.
Another trophy, another season without a trophy, 100%.
All I can think of at the moment is Giannis Antetokounmpo going, there's no such thing as failure in sports. There's only lessons to be learned. Yeah. I know you don't want to hear that now.
No, he is right. He is right.
Arsenal...
It's a failure of a season. Another season without a trophy.
The thing is, if you are getting to the last 4 of the Champions League, just in a Champions League context, I'm not talking about the rest of the season, it is not a failure, because you need the draw, you need no injuries, Andy. You need luck, you need all of that sort of stuff, because it is a cup competition. It's the most prestigious cup competition in football, but as you said earlier, Sam, not always the best team wins it.
No,
if you're consistently putting yourself in the position to win it, and you're looking at Arsenal, a quarter-final for their first participation in 6 years, and going out to one of the favourites, and now a semi-final, they are getting themselves into that position when they can contend year after year after year.
To fuel you.
And eventually, that's how you become Liverpool in the Champions League. That's how you become Manchester City, although not quite the same level as Liverpool historically, obviously, in the Champions League. But that's how you become one of those teams who does it year after year after year. If you're putting yourself in that position to win it, you can't be doing any more in the Champions League.
Yeah, 100%. And I know I pushed you on the Arteta question earlier.
Oh, here we go.
No, because I know you're not going to answer it, but I think me and Andy, I'm very much of the opinion that I do think Mikel Arteta is going to win big trophies with Arsenal. I think the work he's done there.
When you say big trophies,
I think you'll win a Premier League title in the next couple of years under Mikel Arteta.
I hope so.
I think you will. I think he's done such a good job in the last few years.
I think we need to do that first before we talk about the Champions League.
Yeah.
I know we found ourselves in the
Champions League first, didn't he?
Sure.
So
who knows?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.